Hi class, picking up with chapter 24. We have a couple terms today, and the first one is disparate treatment. So the word disparate, don't get that confused with desperate. What this means is, as you can see, is the prefix dis is a negative prefix. So there's a negative connotation with that word. It's when an employer treats members of a protected class differently than other employees. So what is a protected class? It's any group protected by an employment discrimination law. It includes men and women on the basis of sex, any group which shares a common race, religion, color, or national origin, people over 40, and people with a mental or physical handicap. A business necessity defense. That is what an employer claims when an employee or applicant does not have the necessary skills or work experience for the job. So an example of that would be somebody wants to hire an accountant, but they do not have a degree in accounting. They have a degree in psychology. Well, that would be a business necessity because you need somebody trained in accounting to be an accountant. A BFOQ, that's a bona fide occupational qualification. That's a defense used by an employer when the job requirement compels discrimination against a protected class. So a great example of this would be Walt Disney World would not hire an African American to play Cinderella. Cinderella is typecast and exempt from discrimination laws. We'll get into that a little bit more when we have an assignment later in the week. Another word, disparate impact. That's an employment policy that eliminates more members of a protected class than members of the majority. So that would mean that you have to insist that somebody can read or whatever. Well, that could eliminate members of a minority group that were predisposed to not having as much education as the majority. So that's what disparate impact is. An applicant pool, that's a group of people who have applied for the same job. So if an employer goes to look at the applicant pool, it looks at everybody who applied for that same position. Well, a workforce pool is those in the workforce that could have applied for the job. So that includes the applicant pool plus everybody else that did not apply for the job. That's all we're going to worry about today. Make sure you take good notes. You'll have a few assignments coming up, and we will continue with the chapter on another day. Bye, guys.